Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm doing some organizing and putting away. Okay, so over this past weekend, I attended the online Paper Crafters Get Organized Summit, and it was a free event where each day they would post a bunch of videos, video lessons from various paper crafters that do a bunch of different things. And then they show you how they store and organize their craft room or craft space. And the thing that I loved about the summit was it was very well put together. It covered everything from like Cricut crafters to card makers to scrapbookers to um, junk journaling, all a variety of different things, and people who do multiple crafts too. So I was quite interested to see what they had going on. Now, I had to work this weekend, so I did pay the $40 for the paid version so that I could watch it on my own time, which was good because I think I binge watched most of it Saturday night and Sunday. I wasn't able to attend on Friday at all. And Saturday I was working most of the day, so I did not do that either. But I was able to jump in the evening when I had some free time. And then Sunday, I did have some time to do that as well, and I was able to catch some of the lives. So that was really fun. And at first I was like, do I really need this? Because I clean up after every layout. I'm pretty organized. Things are where I like them. And I thought, no, there's always room for improvement. And then once I was watching, I realized that I have quite a few little micro organizing projects, I guess is what they were calling them. So macro organization means things are put away, they're out of your way, they're accessible and usable. However, so for example, I have things like this that people have given to me, getting rid of their craft things, or they don't want it anymore, or I've picked it up at a thrift store. And so this one was kind of a catch-all, and so it had like a whole bunch of different like small things in it, and they weren't put away in the way that I would go looking for them. And so although they were organized, like they were in a container, they were put away, I could go get them if I wanted to. It's not the way I would think about going to find them. I would think about going to my already micro organized station. So the first thing I did was when I popped this little container open, it had a bunch of buttons in it. So I went and pulled out my button container, and the first thing I did was I sorted through and I was like, okay, I have some room in red, I have some room in purple, I have some room in gray, I have a little bit of room in blue. Let's put away what I can. And so I filled these to capacity or to, as full as they would go. And now like my green and my yellow, as you can see, is chock full. Like I can't fit anything else in there, even if I see. Even if I try, it'll pop right out, right? So I got that put away, and then I had a whole bunch of green buttons left over. So what I do with that is that I do have a container that's words are hard, specifically for an overstock, because supplies are expensive, and if I can get them on a discount or get them given to me, I'm not going to just give them away if I think that there's something that I could use or might use someday. And I do have the storage space to hold a backstock. If you don't have that, it's important to get that stuff out of your space. Yes, I agree. But I have the room for a small backstock. So I do have a backstock of cardstock. I have a backstock of little things like this because I like to put what I call sprinkles onto my layouts. And sometimes those are brads, buttons, enamel dots, rhinestones, whatever I decide to do that day, right? So, and I know a lot of people don't like brads. I'm in a climate where brads do not rust. They have not, I've had them on my pages for 20 years. They haven't done anything. wrong to the page. Sometimes I feel like now they're in the wrong spot, but I'm not going to go back and change them. That's a story for another day. But I still really like these. I especially like them for attaching things like vellum or acetate. I like them on tags. I like them for wrapping like crochet thread and then stringing across. So I still find lots of uses for these. So if I'm still using a supply, I'm gonna keep it. And so I wanted to get those done. So I did the buttons, and then here is my backstock container. Excuse me. And I used to have a whole bunch of these, but then when I moved to this system, because I like it better, because when I open the container, I see all of the things. I see the different sizes, I see the different colors and tones, and I like this much better. This is my rainbow one. I also have a neutrals one, which you'll see in a little bit. And then this is my backstock. And I kept one because I thought that was a reasonable amount for holding backstock. Now, I have actually worked my way through much of my backstock. So this used to be full. And as I go about once a year, when I do a big tidy like I'm doing right now, I'll go through and I will fill up the empty spaces in my main containers from my backstock. So over time, probably over the last 3 years, I've used most of what was in here. So I think these are all empty up until this one. So this one is eyelets in rainbow colors, and they're smaller. I tend to use the bigger eyelets more, so these ones don't get pulled as often. This is where I put my buttons away yesterday, so as you can see, they're mostly green in color. These ones are yellow. The yellow is also full, and so that's where I'm keeping my backstock of buttons, is in this container for small things. Now, this is not something that is typically accessible to me, but I know where it is and I know where to go get it if I'm looking for something. But typically, if it's in here, that means I have others that are the same color, size, what have you. So here is some more of my backstock. This is actually at the end of last summer when I did a big organization. This was all I had as backstock. All the rest of these were empty. So I do use my things, which has been a good eye-opener for me, that I'm not just keeping it to keep it, that if I know where it is and I know how to get it, it's very useful to me. So this is my backstock container. We'll probably need to pull this out in a little while because I see a lot of the same color here, and so I'll probably fill those ones up and then have to contain them into the backstock container. All right, so the first thing that I need to do is kind of take stock of what I have here. So this, I'm going to just put this away because you don't need to see that. I just wanted to show you that this was something that came into my space. I try not to get rid of these things for that reason, because I need a dumping ground for when I come home and I'm just unpacking from a thrift store or a crop where there was a make and take, or no, what do you call that? Not make and take, give and take table, or you know, things like that. Or if somebody is like, here, have my craft things, I don't use them anymore. That doesn't happen very often, but it has been happening actually at the monthly crop I go to. There's a lady that lives in the condo who's been bringing us things that she's no longer using, so that's kind of nice. So then I try to keep things like this for my dumping ground per se, and that's an important part of why I looked around and was like, well, I don't need to clean. Or I don't need to organize. I do need to clean. I don't need to organize. I'm very organized. Everything's put away. Yeah, it was. It was put away because I have a place to throw those things without micro-organizing them. Okay? So once that's empty, it'll go back up in my closet where I have just kind of like it's not even a whole shelf. It's like not even half a shelf, I don't think. It's probably, I don't know, like a third of my top shelf of my closet is just empty organizational containers. So, and like I said, it's because I have the space for that kind of stuff that I keep it, because I don't want to have to pay for it in the future if I need it. I want to use what I already have, right? Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I want to separate out the different colors here, and then decide if I have room for them in this container or if they need to go in the backstock. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside. Actually, I'm going to close it up because I have knocked this over before, and although all the lids are screwed on, some of them are getting old, because that's an old retired container from close to my heart, and they don't sell it anymore. I am always on the lookout for the little jars that go in it, because the ones from Michael's are okay, but they don't fit properly in there. So I wish I would have bought more jars when I didn't need them, you know, but I didn't have the budget for that at the time. Okay, so here is what I like to do. I like to have my little tweezers because sometimes I find my fingers are not as cooperative as I want them to be. But these colored brads are fairly large in size, so I can pick those ones up. So here's my yellows. Here are orange. There's quite a few colors in here, and I'm starting to see that there are also some neutrals. So I do have my neutrals nearby. I can pull those out and put some gold ones away. So did I get all of the orange? Okay, so yellow, orange, red. Now I got some big red ones in here and also some little red ones in here. So, and this is not a brad, so that's gonna go out separately. There's a little Google eye in there. This is a brad, but it's a different kind of brad, so I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm just going to pick out these, yeah, these brads. I apologize for my cough. This is like week 3. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's just, I'm not even really sick. I just can't stop the coughing. It's annoying, to say the least. I got some eyelets here. I'm going to just slide those out too, so that they're... The fewer things I have to rifle through, the better, right? So here's my reds, and I do have other reds in here. There's a few of these bright green ones that I'm going to set aside, because they will go in a different spot, because as you saw in my container, it's what we call micro-organized. So it's organized by, not just by color, but also by like shade of color or tone. So that it's easier for me to find what I'm looking for, because I have quite a bit of inventory. So let me know in the comments how you organize your tiny little things like this. Like maybe, I know not everybody likes to or wants to scrapbook with brads. Some people find them annoying. Some people only like the decorative ones. I prefer the plain colors because I like them to just be a sprinkling of a pop of color on my layout. Typically, sometimes I'll do like a brad heavy layout, and that's fun too, but typically they're just for a little sprinkling of color. So tell me how you like to organize your little things. Do you organize by color? Do you just have a toss-in bin like the one I was talking about in the beginning, where when it comes into my space, I just threw it in that little container? It was not organized in any way, shape, or form. I just threw it in there so that it was put away. Because what I found out on this Paper Crafters Get Organized Summit was that's how some people like to organize. That's how some people want their craft space, is just, they don't want, especially people who maybe have like less supplies or less space. They just need one spot to put things in when it comes into their space until it's used, and then out, right? Okay, so now I'm going to slide that aside because the rest are all very similar in color. I'm going to open up my little jar case here. Okay, so this one looks like the smaller size of red brads. So I'm going to take these little red brads and I'm going to toss them into this jar. There is room for them. And then, oh, one more. And then I have these bigger ones over here. I hope you are enjoying this kind of video. I know I like to watch people put things away and see how other people do things, so I thought I would record this little bit of a process for you guys. Now, if you don't like that sort of thing, that's totally cool. Just skip over this one and come back another time. I know that there is a lot of places you can be on the internet, and if you are here and watching, I really appreciate having you here. And if it's not your thing, I hope you go somewhere else and find some inspiration somewhere on the internet. There is so much wonderful content out there, so many wonderful creative people who love to share their process. It's just amazing, isn't it? Okay, I think these ones are a little not going to fit in that one. Let's try this one. Yep, those ones will go in there. It's kind of like Big Bird colored. Okay, now we got those bright green ones to go in. Let's see if I can find a spot for those. These ones are kind of bigger. They would normally go in this container, but that one's pretty full. Let me just pop them in to this container here, because there are other ones that color. They're just a bit smaller. Okay, there we go. And then I have these darker blue brads, which is cool because it looks like I don't actually have this color in this size, so that's kind of neat. I'm not sure where to put them though, because I don't have a jar to hold this color, this size. So let me think for a second. Maybe I can combine these ones into these other, because they're very similar in size and color. So maybe I can just do some combination jars here, mix them together. Oh, fall apart. And I do find that if I put them in there and tap them down, usually they'll settle in. It's like when you put marbles into a jar and it looks full. Have you ever done that with kids? You put the marbles in the jar and ask them if it's full, and then they say yes, and then you pour the sand in and they see that there's lots of space in there. It's kind of like that. So then I'm going to put these in there. There we go. Okay, so that's that for now. This one is a brown, so it'll go in my other container. Is it brown? Double check. Yes, it is. For a second there, it looked purple, just the way the light hit it. Okay, so there's that. Now, these ones are colored, but they're very similar in color. So what I'm going to do is, see, there's some more of those red. That's okay. Here's another. Oh, did I scoop up the Google Eye? I did. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, I'm going to pause the camera because this is a bit of the boring part, and I'm just going to separate them out. You don't have to watch that. I will pause, and then once they're separated, I'll come back and show you how I put them away. Okay, hang on. Okay, so as you can see, I did sort those out a little bit, and I am glad I turned off the camera because you would have just been looking at the back of my head mostly, because my vision is brutal. And so the real only rainbow color that I have here is green, so I'm going to file away the green into their little assigned jars. Look at that. Filling up the jar. That's so fun. And then I think the rest should be able to fit in here, but if not, we'll move to the overflow or overstock, I call it. I'd like to call it. Did you guys watch the home edit? That's where I got that term from, overstock. Or backstock, I think they call it. Backstock. Not over. We don't want to say over. We want to say back because we're going to use it, right? It's just put away for the time being. Okay, that's super cool. So as you can see, some extra jars, a little bit more full than before, but still just very organized and ready to go. So that's that. Now for these ones, we're going to pull out the, I'm just going to slide these over a little. Neutrals container, which is the same as the rainbow one. It's just neutrals. So mostly metallics, some gray and tan and brown, etc. So let me see. Some of these probably will have to go in the overstock containers, but let's see what we can get in here. Okay, so I have this one. I have this one that looks very similar to this color, so I'm going to get as many as I can into there. And then whatever doesn't fit, I'll put in my backstock container. Because I want this to be full first, so that when I'm, because this is where I'm going to go if I'm actually making something, right? Okay, so that one's full. This one will go in backstock. And then, let's see, what else do I have? I have this one. That's the darker version. Could I put a few more of those in there? They're not really the same tone. I'm just going to leave that because I don't want to mix those. I want to be able to see the different tones of color. These ones are very different. You know what I could do though is I think that these and these are very similar. So what I might do is move these into here and put those. Remember how I said that the ones from Michaels just are not as, yeah. Anyway, that's that. Surprise! I'm sorry for that. Very exciting moment of craft organizing. Okay, that goes there. And then maybe I can get these ones into this container. Or not. Okay, and I think that's full. So I'm going to take a few out because it's a little too full, even after tapping her down. And I will, here's a rogue Brad. Okay, so there's that. And then in the smaller size, I really only have one container dedicated to that size of gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little gold ones, like they're gray on the top. I don't know if you can even see that. They're gray on the top, but they're gold prongs. So I'm going to take those ones out and put them into here because they should all fit into this space. Now they're starting to blend together. Okay, because I dropped that thing. Not that it really matters that much, but okay. Now, can I also get the rest of those in there? Maybe. Look at that. And maybe a few of these too. So that I have a little bit of each one ready to go. Okay, so I did better than I thought. I got more in there. Let me see. What about the kind of neutrally tan color? Do I even have something in that color started? No, but I do need some more jars. Oh, I do have a little bit here. So let's see if I can get some of these in there. So that'll go there. I have a smaller one in that color? No, I do not. I do not. Okay. So this is where it's time to go on the hunt for some new jars. I know I don't have any here in my craft space currently. These are, I believe these are colored. Okay, so I will close that up. I'll set it down here, and I will pull out my backstock container. Here are the brads from that. So I will, let me see, do these want to go, do these match with these ones maybe? Yeah, they do. Okay, so I'm going to put them in there. And I just mix them up so that I can see both tones of the color. I'm going to put the other ones that are similar to this size, but in this darker color. I'm going to put them on this side. Uh-oh, dropped a gray one in there. There we go. Let's see, what else can I do here? I don't really want to start a whole new container. Oh, here we go. These ones are, there's some grays in here that we can, I spent all that time separating them. Let's keep them separated. Okay. And there's a couple of that color here, so I'm going to move them over. And these ones will go into this side. And then what's left of my littles will go in there as well. Okay. Now, I am left with this little bundle of hodgepodge mismatched thingies. There's one brown brad that can go in here. There are some eyelets that, let me see, I do have this little thing of eyelets. I can stick them in there for now. And they're kind of a different shape, so okay, what else do we have here? Okay, and then I also have this that sits next to my desk where I kind of like to tuck things that get left behind or they fall on the floor and I find them later. So I am going to, first of all, pull out this little container that I haven't talked about yet. And it is, oh, what do we want to call this? It's stuff. Metals mostly. This is where my Google eyes go, so I'm going to put those in there. I have kept these safety pins for a while, but I haven't used any of them. So I am going to remove those. And they are going to go somewhere else that we'll talk about in a minute. I don't know why there's a nail in there, but there you have it. Okay, what else can go in there? These kind of brads that are kind of bigger, I guess, is a term that I would use. And then I have a different spot for those and those and those. I'll grab that in a minute. These are kind of random colory things. Okay, so there is probably spots for those in my main storage. So I will tuck these back in here. And yes, micro-organizing is a little bit time-consuming, and that's why it's not for everybody. Some people are very happy to have a little bit of chaos in their space, or they're happy to, like, I don't know, what do you call that when you're, like, digging through things to, like, find what you want? I'm not that person. If I have to dig through stuff to find what I'm looking for, I get frustrated kind of easy. I get to where I'm like, I'm not scrapbooking anymore, I'm done. So if things are organized like this for me, that encourages me to use my things and to not feel overwhelmed by having to dig for what I'm looking for. This does not want to go back on now. Okay. But it's worth it to me. So I hope there's other people like me out there. Well, I know there is because I saw them on the craft summit. Nobody talked about this kind of stuff though. I think because it's kind of outdated maybe is the good word for it, but because people don't use the metals on their paper crafts as much as they used to, I think. But there's got to be more than just me out there who uses them. There. No? Yes. No? Oh my gosh. It's not going to go on there. Ugh. Okay. That might have to be something for another time. Let's look at, okay, so I have 1, no, 2, what else do we got here? 3, nope, that's red. 3, nope. Got a few that are just gold, so let's find the gold jar. Here it is. Toss these ones in there. We have some white, and this is the size we have. There is a white one here. Okay, now I think the other ones are all rainbow color. And pop that in there. Grab my rainbows. Okay, so we have a green glitter, which I have my glittery sparkly ones over here. I have a really light blue color in the smaller size, so it can go in here. I have a tiny yellow, so it will go in this little container with my other tiny yellows. Where did they go? There we go. I have another one of these green, so I'm going to put that with the others. And I have some more of these reds. Where did I put those? This one? Yeah. Okay, so those are also going to go into here. Oops. All right, so these will go in with my rhinestones. So here are some that are also that color, so I'll just tuck them into this package. I used to just toss them in the box, and then I started to find that things were getting really lost. Let's just show the color though. There we go. Okay. So that's put away. Now I have a container for these things, so just hang on. All right, so I also have this container, and I need to find a closer spot to my desk for this one because it does not get pulled out as often at home. However, it does travel with me. This is the one that I take when I go places because it has a little bit of everything. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, well, Nadine, how is that any different from the other container that does sit by your desk? This one here that we talked about when I put in, what did I throw in here? Oh, like my Google eyes, and I think I threw a Brad in there. Okay, a pink one. So in my mind, these are different, and I'll tell you why. These ones are categorized according to, like, they're more themey, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, Google eyes, these ones are all hearts, like really bright hearts. These ones are photo turns, so not themey, but different than these, and I don't like them in this container because they get lost in the bottom. These ones are like Legos and dolphins and like very specified things. These ones are arrows. These ones are the kind of brads that have like pictures and stuff on them. So this is different in my mind, and it sits beside me. This is bigger, first of all, in size. Typically, the things that I put in here are larger, and they're more, like, I'm able to sort them just by color. So, like, for example, some big yellow brads, some big red brads, but they don't fit in my little container. This is a button. Could it go in my button container? Sure, but my button container is full. And there is some crossover, and the reason I do that is because it reminds me to go back and forth between things. So for example, if I'm looking for a button and I'm like, oh, I wanted a corduroy button. Where are my corduroy buttons? Oh yeah, they're in that container. Or I'm looking through here and I'm like, oh, buttons. Buttons would be a good idea, but I don't need a blue one. I would go back to my button container. So having a little bit of crossover helps me to remember that I have a variety of things, right? This is also where I put my very small collection of flare badges. Okay, so that is where these two things go. So I have a big green brad, and I have this, it says strength, and it is red, so it's going to go in the red container. So this is the one that I take when I travel, and that's when I use it the most, probably, is when I'm traveling and I need something for a page. Okay, so that'll go back in my take with me tote. Wood veneer. I only have one piece in all of this stuff, but my wood veneer goes into an iris container, and it goes into these two trays, sorted by, I don't know, different shapes, I guess. So on the top one here, we have the heart spot, so I will toss that in with my other hearts. Okay, so I will put those back in their iris container. Now, this tiny little wall nail is going to go into my utility room, I have a container like this for stuff like this in my laundry room. So that's where that's going to go. I'll do that later. It's not in this room, so it's not going to make a difference to me. So just like I showed you, I have a little box for incoming things that I need to put away or disperse into my craft room. I also, where did I put it? I also have one for outgoing things. Or is this, here it is. I'm like, no, it was different. Okay. I was like, did I show you the wrong one? So this is for outgoing. So I did get rid of one not long ago. Once these are full, I give them away or post them on Marketplace for somebody who wants them. So like I said, I have not used any of these, so it's time to say goodbye. These I will not use because I don't like the snaps on the pages. So those are in there. I'm not really even sure what to do with these tiny little, I think they're jewelry making things. So that's that. But yeah, so I started this a while ago, but it's not very full. So this is my outgoing and my incoming. So my incoming still has some things in it. Let's see. That I would like to empty. These little charms. Let's see, where would I like these? I could put them in with my little girls' things, but they're kind of chunky. I'm going to take the adhesive. They have like foam tape. I don't feel like something like this that's already chunky needs also foam tape. Maybe on a card, but I'm a scrapbooker primarily, so that's not going to fly. And I could put these into here because I used a lot of the charms that I used to have, so I think they'll go here. That's done. Take the adhesive off of there and pop it in there. These ones will go in the same place. I don't even know what scrapbook tacks are. Snap-on metal paper crafting fasteners in antique gold square. Backs, fronts, perfectly coordinates with scrapbook interiors, papers, tags, and embellishments. Use a 1/8 hole punch. Simply snap fronts and backs together, no hammer required. Repositionable and reversible. I don't know. That might be something I need to try. Do I want to try it? Do I have a 1/8 punch? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so that's garbage. What else do I have in here? I also have some flowers. I think those might be too bulky for me. So I will probably, I almost threw the garbage in there instead of the, this is why, you know, multitasking maybe isn't my jam anymore. I used to be really good at it. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. Okay, I have these little flowers, which are super cute. And these little flowers with buttons, which are also cute. I'm going to put those in with my little girl stuff. I also have these clear pieces. Now, hang on. What do I want to do with this? Stylish accent ribbon accessories. Okay, so I'm going to make the call that these are not things that I've had in my space before. Oh, I have one more. And so, I guess I've probably had those flowers in before, but they're not something, I know, wow, guys, talking. Okay, so I know that these are something that I probably won't use, but I don't need to keep the packaging. I'll just put them in with my bits and bobs. And I'm gonna leave these ones maybe in the packaging. I'm not going to get rid of those just yet. Okay, outgoing, incoming. So incoming, we have all these clear pieces. Now my incoming box is empty. It will go back up on my closet shelf. I don't know where that came from. Okay, it will go back up on my closet shelf until I start getting things in that are accumulating on my desk. These are letters, I guess. Do they spell something? What is happening? Shapes. Those look like the centers of the letters, so we don't need to keep those. Shape. Doesn't make for very interesting viewing. Can you guys even see that? I hope so. It's very, very transparent. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the centers of the letters because we don't need to keep things that aren't being used, right? J, K. Maybe I need to put them in alphabetical. I don't think they're spelling anything. Why is that one M so gigantic and the rest of them are all kind of really similar sized? A-M. I am... Star, star, I. What else do we got here? Okay. Oop. Now I'm making a mess. Okay. I guess I should have cleaned my desk before I came on here. Look, there's glue on here. Gross. Sorry, guys. I'm usually pretty good about that sort of thing. Okay, let's see. A. Do we have a B? I don't see one. C, D, E, E, A, S, T, H, S, K, L, I, E, L. O, R, S. Oh, apparently I'm sticky. Not just my desk, but me too. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So A, B, there's no B. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. There's a giant M. N, O, no P, no Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I mean, most of the alphabet is here. Is this something I want to hang on to? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in with my, I do have an iris container that has alphabets like this. I'm going to find a Ziploc for it. I'm going to put it in there. These stars, however, are going to go in. Let's see what I got. So I have these little photo things. This one is marked clear. So it's clear embellishments. So that will go in there. Okay. Iris container. There we go. Okay, so I am. I just think it's so weird that those two are giant and everything else is the same size. Must have, I don't know. Anyway, okay. Moving on, I'm going to put these in with my alphas, and if I don't use them a year from now, they will go bye-bye. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and let me know what you do with little things like the things I was organizing today. And if you have any questions or comments, I will get back to you just as soon as I can. I hope you all have a great day. Bye for now.